Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is called to order. We are thrilled or lucky to get Sabrina Childs from the Ball Seed Company. She had started with them in 2005 as a sales rep, covering northern Mississippi, northern Louisiana, Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and western Tennessee. She doesn't seem to be home much, does she? Her work includes providing plant input and technical and market support to greenhouse growers and nurseries, as well as assistance with industry trade shows and educational programs. Thank you. So here's Sabrina Childs.
Thank you. Do you want to pass these? We'll start. So what I'm going to start around, so I have time to get around. These are what we call our seed libraries. So it shows all the forms and all of the processes that we do to our seed, and on the lid it has what it is. So just to kind of get that started around as I'm going through my presentation. Sorry, no, I have to take that back with me.
Okay, be that way.
But yes, definitely take pictures of it, yeah. But that just kind of shows some of the processes we do, which I'll show you again in the presentation, but just so you have an idea of what those look like. So a little bit about myself. I've been with the Ball Seed Company now for 20 years. I was a grower in a large nursery greenhouse for 7 years. Before that, I was a customer of Ball Seed. Kind of how I got to be in this position, I think. I was really close with my sales rep, and when he retired, he asked me if I was interested. So I said, definitely, yes, I am. So this job has given me the opportunity to travel all over the world and see all kinds of different greenhouse operations and the way that plants actually get to market, which was really fascinating. Is what I want to show you today. So another topic of my presentation is seed sourcing, and we'll get into a little of how you can actually order seed from us. But mainly I want to kind of tell you about what we do and where the seed comes from and how it gets to you. So over 100 years ago, George Ball began the company in his kitchen table packaging cut flower seeds. And that was where we began. And we are still a family-owned business 100 years later. His motto then was all the best and nothing else, and it is still our motto today. We put that on our catalogs and our garden this year at Ball, which our home office is in West Chicago, Illinois. And we put that big in like big letters in the garden this year. So definitely still a motto that we stand by. So as we work with growers, so what I do is I travel around in my territory that I have, and I go to greenhouses and nurseries, and I help them with what's new. First of all, we talk about what's new, but then how to get those plants to them in the best way, in the best form. So the next generation was Carl Ball, and he kind of started envisioning going more national and then worldwide with the company and kind of getting into some modern techniques. And our current owner is Anna Ball, and her daughter, Susanna, is going to be taking over from her in a couple of years. So we're very excited about that. So we are a global family. The Ball Seed Company is in 27 countries worldwide now. So we're the only horticultural company in Australia. It's kind of a fun fact. We have breeders all over the world, constantly looking for new plants. We have research and development teams, also making sure that these plants can be produced and that they perform well. And we have the seed and vegetative producers, which we'll look at and where those are all over the world. And then we have the distribution side of the company, which is a part that I work for, making sure that we can get these products out to market and get them to our customers. So here's just some of the locations that the Ball Seed Company is in now. You can see we have expanded all over the world. And the reason a lot of this is in different areas is because for seed production, some plants produce seed better in their ideal climate. So a lot of tropical plants like pentas, for example, if you've ever grown pentas, those are produced in Thailand because the hot, humid climate there is perfect for producing pentas year round. And we got to be able to produce these seeds all year round. So we're always looking for unique plants and how to get them to market, and also the best way to grow the new plants. Trialing is a big part of that, so we have trialing areas, trial gardens all over the country. Our seed company is called Pan American Seed. So this is a sister company of the Ball Seed Company. This is our seed division. And then we have Keep Seed, which is known for perennial seed. So they're the perennial seed company. We have the Ball Flower Plant Company, which is the vegetative producing company. So this is a company that will work with all plants that are produced from an underwood cutting. Lantana, verbena, purslane, there's tons of different ones. Some angelonias, a lot of the ones that we use are from cuttings. So they're the company that works with those. And then we have Darwin Perennials, is our perennial company. In our Ball Premier seed line, which is the little tin that I'm passing around, we have improved the way we treat our seed over the last 15 years especially. We added a new lab called the Ball Premier Seed Lab. You can go to YouTube and watch a video. It's like a 15-minute video that shows the whole lab and all the things that they do to the seed. And then also in our cutting and seed production, which I'll show you some of the farms in a little bit, they're always checking quality to make sure we get the best quality cuttings and seed. And then our young plant producers, so you get the cutting, you have a seed, but then how does it get from that to you? Well, there's a middle step there. It has to go to a plug or a young plant, what we call a young plant producer, and they grow those little thimble-sized plugs, we call them plugs, and they'll put the seeds in those little plugs, and then that's what I send to my customers, the growers. So they will buy in thousands of these little plugs, then they transplant them and grow them from this. And it works the same way with underwood cuttings. So we have a farm in Costa Rica, in Chile, Guatemala. We have a new geranium farm in Mexico that just opened 2 years ago. And our main farm now for underwood cuttings is in Nicaragua. So here, Las Limas is the name of the farm in Nicaragua. We supply probably all the cuttings that come into North America from that farm. There's about 1,300 people that work there year-round. We have doctors and a clinic there on site for them. Child care is provided for the workers. And we have like the whole community there that works at the farm. Because it's pretty far out. If you've ever been to Nicaragua, it's pretty, even from the airport, it's about an hour from the airport. So it's very rural. And we employ this whole community there. And it's a great environment for them all to work in. So Darwin Plants their headquarters is in Holland. Because a lot of perennials are from bare root. So most bare root perennials are sourced from Holland. And they dig the roots there, put them on container ships, and then bring them across the ocean to us. And our distribution company, so this is the part that I work with. We are on 6 continents now where we have distribution companies. And then we also have our brands. So we have consumer brands that we have a whole marketing department. So they're working on all of our different brands. Probably the one you recognize the most would be Wave. So Wave petunias. And now we have Cool Wave pansies for fall. And then we also have the Burpee Home Gardens. So the relationship between Ball and Burpee is Anna Ball, our owner, her brother is George Ball, who is the owner of Burpee Seed Company. So it is still in the family. We do supply them seed for their small packages. So we supply large packages of seed, 500 seed up to 25,000 seeds in a package to growers and the young plant producers. But we also supply them to the Burpee company so they can put them in smaller packages and you get the Burpee seed catalog and that's where they come from. So Burpee Home Gardens is just a brand that we created a couple of years ago to actually be able to sell the little plugs to our growers in the Burpee, some of the key Burpee products. So some of the ones that are their top sellers, we will be able to get in plugs to growers that wanted to grow them out that way. We also have a publishing company, Ball Publishing, since 1937. We produce one of the lead horticulture magazines still every month called Grower Talks and Green Profit. And we produce the Ball Red Book, which is like the complete culture guide for all growers. Every grower has a Ball Red Book on their shelf because it is from A to Z, every crop, and how to grow each one. So our motto, Color of the World, and that is kind of came off by our gardens at Ball. So if you're ever in the West Chicago area, it's about 45 minutes from downtown Chicago on the west side, kind of out in the country. It's pretty rural. There's a lot of cornfields out there. And we have a 13-acre garden. So they're expanding it every year. It was around 13 acres this year. It's open year-round. So if you're ever in that area, you can always stop by. There's always usually somebody there during the day to show you how to get into the gardens. But we do trial a lot of things there. We have trial sites here and other parts too, but everything is planted there at the Gardens at Ball. We have a customer event every July. This year we had a record attendance. We had almost 1,800 customers come to our customer day this year. So we have 150,000 plants, 3,500 varieties. Now it's up to 13 acres, and we have over 115 breeders and suppliers that showcase their plants there. So this is a view across to the shade area. And this is the comparison garden. So every year they will change out. This gets completely changed every year. And they will put in different species of plants to compare to each other. This year it was pentas and celosia and begonias, I think. It had everyone in the whole class, every breeder that's available all over the world in these trial gardens, in these comparison beds, so you can see which ones and how they looked compared to each other. And then we also not just put new things in the garden, we also put some old but tried but true things in there too. We don't want to forget about those. And one of those is the Gumfrina fireworks. If you've never grown Gumfrina fireworks, this is one that's from seed. It makes an excellent cut flower. It's one of the longest lasting cuts I've ever had. So they reseed their stuff too. They will come back if you have them once. But they get big. They'll get about 3 to 4 feet tall. And just make a nice little show in the garden. The plant behind it is actually a hibiscus called Mahogany Splendor. That one's also from seed, but it's a hibiscus that doesn't bloom. It has little tiny white flowers on it. You'll never see them. But the foliage looks just like a Japanese maple from a distance. And this is 1 year's growth. So in one season, they'll get almost 6 feet tall. So they're going to go away when it frosts, but then you can always plant them again the next year. And they're not near as expensive as Japanese maple would be. Okay, so what is WebTrack? I'm just going to go through this kind of quick. How many have ever, do any of you have an account, ColorLink account, or any type of account with us right now? As your group or anything? Okay, so as your group, you could set up an account, and this would be what you would see when you did. So we call this our WebTrack. This is our online ordering system. So this is what I see, this is what our growers see, and I wanted you to see it, just kind of get behind the scenes look of how things are actually done as far as ordering seed and other plants. So to register, you can call our 800 number. You can say you're with the group. They will set you up with an account number. They will, have to set you up with a payment way to pay for things at that time. But that's a quick and easy process. And once you're registered, then you'll go into your customer login. You'll have an account number. You can just log in. You'll set your own username and password, just like every other site would be. And this is what the homepage looks like. So instead of that picture of Ryan, that would be my picture up there. And so this is exactly what I would see. And this is over on the side is all the different things. We call these the action items. So you can create orders, you can order seed, you can order plugs, you can view your orders, you can track your orders, you view your invoices. Everything to do with your business is right here on this one page. So these are what we call the action items. And entering claims. So you see down at the bottom, well, sometimes plants don't come in just right, especially if they're shipped by FedEx. And we have issues a lot of times with things being upside down. And they get jumbled up and out of their trays, and then you don't know what's what because they don't have any blooms on them. So we have to enter claims sometimes. And this is through, it makes this very easy process here. The customer can go here, they can put their order number in, upload a picture, send it to us, and it's done. And then they will tell us in a week or two how many they lost, and we give them credit for those bad plants that didn't survive. And we have insurance that covers that, also with FedEx. So FedEx is pretty good about honoring most claims if we have good pictures of things. And then we ship a lot of plants in the winter. So January, February are peak shipping times. Well, what happened last year in February? Well, I'll never forget week 8. It was we go by week numbers when we're growing plants. So week 8 was the middle of February, and Memphis got hit with the ice storm. And when Memphis gets hit with the ice storm, FedEx shuts down for several days. Everything gets backlogged. Well, you're looking at live plants in a box. Normally that would be delivered overnight. We ship plants overnight in a box. And they sat somewhere, would sit somewhere for 3 or 4 days, and then you open them and they're just, the smell of bad plants in a box is something you never forget. It's not good. So we had a lot of claims on something like that, which we cover, and then we try to replace as much as we can. That's constantly what we try to do, is make up for the plants that come in bad. So up here at the top will be all the information, phone numbers, anything if you needed to contact anyone. And then also, get through these, timely topics, so anything like plants that's new or that's doing well in trials, That will be on that page. This is one of the most important parts, and this is also on our website. So you can go to ballseed.com anytime and look at this page right here. It's our catalog search page. So it's going to show you A to Z, every plant that we carry in seed and plugs. And you can filter it by when you want it to bloom, how, all kinds of different filters over on the side. If you're looking for something specific or specific color, even you can sort it by that. So here it is, to the alphabetical, every single thing we carry. If you're in WebTrack, you can actually just hit the Buy Now button and it'll put it in your cart for you. So we try to make it really easy. You can save your favorites and that sort of thing. And then also when you go to the catalog search, just going to pull this page up and you will see down at the bottom under marketing information, it'll have a culture sheet. So it tells you how to grow that plant from seed to finish, from sowing it, if it needs to be covered, if it needs to have light, how much moisture it needs. We have that information for every single crop on the website. And it tells you all about that plant, how tall it gets, water requirements, and everything about it. So in our product resources, which is also on that action part, we have these little tabs, and these are also on the website. So all of our catalogs are available online. So if you need to look up something, you can go to our catalog search page. We also have, here's all of our current catalogs. So it'll be like new varieties, it'll be vegetative cuttings, it'll be the seed catalog, the Burpee catalog, there'll be all sorts of different ones on there. And then the culture information, again, which we talked about, so you can sort and look at the different requirements for each crop. Videos, we have a ton of videos now. All our different companies have videos on YouTube, which you can go anytime and watch those. Just put in the name of that company and it's gonna pop up all their videos that we have posted. And then we also have a landscape tab. So these are just plants that work best in landscape and the landscapers are going to use, and they kind of go to this page to look at what's working well in certain areas and to get ideas of what works well together and what's going to be the best plants in certain areas. So kind of what's new, I kind of want to talk about where plants, so I've kind of done this before, like where your plant comes from. So how did it get here? This is a Lowe's, but it could be any garden center. How did it get to here from all the things we've talked about so far? Well, it came from a wholesale grower, and these wholesale growers are all over the country, and they grow thousands, if not millions, of plants, and thousands of the same thing, in a lot of cases. And they're shipping them by trucks into the stores, into the garden centers, and I have several here in Arkansas, wholesale growers that are sending out plants every week to garden centers, and so that's the wholesale grower side. So it all starts with that breeder that's working on plants that won't be seen for 10 years even. And they're working on these plants to make sure they can produce them. And then they go through us. We get them to the young plant producers as seed or cuttings. Then they produce them in little plugs. We sell them to the growers who grow them out to the wholesale growers. And then they make it into the garden center. And we'll revisit this in a little bit too after we get through kind of the other processes. But yeah, it's a whole big chain that has to happen of events, and they all have to go fairly well to make sure everything works out. So this would be your garden and all your plants that made it there, say in the summertime. But everything that went into that plant was done by a breeder that was working on all these different things to make that plant better. And we're constantly improving plants. If you look at our catalog, you'll see we have lots of things every year that's like improved. Because even though they've produced it once, there's always something they can improve on. And breeders are very well known about wanting to make it the very best they can. So they're constantly working on these things to make them even better. So in what we call mass production propagation methods, we have unrooted cuttings and calloused cuttings. Those are then sent and produced as liners or plugs. We have tissue culture, which I'll show you in a minute how that's done. We have seed, which also makes it into liners and plugs. And then we have our root and perennials. So this is a farm in Costa Rica. It's very pretty there. I mean, it's a gorgeous place. Costa Rica, Nicaragua looks kind of similar to this. It's a little more flat there. But this is our farm in Bogota, Colombia, where all the perennials are produced. So all the unrooted perennials and all the perennials that we have come from this farm there. And this is what it kind of looks like inside, especially in perennials. A lot of things, some things are grown in the ground, the stock plants. Some are on tables in pots. And a lot of them use volcanic rock as their soil because they have access to it. Because in those countries, there's a lot of volcanoes. So it's more accessible to them than peat moss is. And it's sterile. That's the other thing. We have to keep these houses very clean. So having a sterile media is really important. So you can see a bag, a little unrooted. Actually, those are callus. So what we call callus is where they're pushed almost to send out little roots, or even if you have them tiny little roots. Then we put them in a bag and we ship them to the customer. And this is from the farm in Columbia that happens. So logistics have got to be just right. They got to go through customs, and they've got to make it to Arkansas within 24 hours, or they're not going to survive. So here's what little unrooted cuttings look like, and we use these little charts at every farm so that they try to get the same size cutting. Because when growers are sticking their cuttings, they want them to all be uniform and be the same, so they grow out the same. And you got to start with an even cutting that are all the same size. And here's what mums look like. So these are little baby mum cuttings. And we put them in these bags. Again, the farm that we grow mums in, though, is in Florida, so it's not quite as difficult to get those. All right, and then tissue culture. So some plants, especially perennials, are known to have viruses and diseases in them. And by growing them in a tissue culture lab, we can weed out the ones that have the disease early, so that those never make it into production. So we can guarantee clean stock plants. The clean stock plants then go to the farm, and then they go to the wholesale grower, and then they come to you. So we're guaranteed with no viruses, but they will start them in these little tubes or petri dishes. And we have a lab in West Chicago, so if you ever make it up to the office up there, you can actually see them through the glass. You can see the people in their lab coats, and they're working on these tissue cultures. But it's gotten to where now this is so efficient that we actually do a lot of annuals this way. It's not just in perennials. So we start most of our annual crops from tissue culture. And then they send these to what we call the nucleus block. Then they build them up a little more, and then build them up a little more, so that we have thousands of one thing to be able to get cuttings off of. So again, you see the little tissue cultures. We actually sell these too. I have a couple of customers that get these in the dish, and then they plant them from the tissue culture. It's very tedious. You have to have tweezers. You've got to have a little tent over the tables to keep the humidity just right. So it's a lot goes into tissue cultures, and a lot of them come from the Philippines. So a lot of tissue cultures are done there too on certain crops. So we're shipping them that far away in these little dishes, and they have this little gel. It's called an agar solution. It's like a gel. If they ever get upside down, that jelly stuff gets all over the plants, and it's just a mess. So just another thing we have to work through. So here's some workers actually planting their tissue culture from their little dish. You see, they've got their little bowl, and these are big enough they're not having to use tweezers, but most of the time they're so tiny you have to use little tweezers to handle them. Okay, in seed production, like I say, our main farm now is in Costa Rica. So here's workers pollinating impatiens. So it's whole houses. You can see the whole house of impatiens with houses and houses of different crops like this. How many people knew there were male and female flowers? And can tell the difference, actually, if you look really close. Female impatient flower, male impatient flower. All on the same plant, all right there together. So they're all together. But to make impatient seed, you have to pollinate them by hand. So they will pull off a male flower and touch every female flower by hand to get them pollinated. Now, there are crops that are pollinated by bees, and we call those open pollinated. And we have hives in the houses, and let the bees do the work. We love that. That would be the best way. But to get colors, specific colors, sometimes you have to cross two colors together or certain plants to get that specific thing you're looking for. So after they're pollinated, and I'll go back, because one thing, a question I get sometimes, how do they know which ones they pollinated? Well, you see where his thumb is right there? They'll pull off a petal. They pull off one little petal, and that's how they know that that one's been pollinated, and not going back and pollinating the same ones over and over. And you can get about 10 to 12 flowers pollinated from one male flower. So another fun fact there. After the seed, it takes about 20 days for seed pods to form on impatiens. And when they get to this point, they're at an angle with little grooves. And that's when the workers know they're ready to harvest. So it's the same workers pollinating that are harvesting, because they're all on the same plant. And as you're walking through benches of impatiens, those seed are just popping out everywhere. Impatiens produce a ton of seed. Some crops are much more difficult. Angelonia is one, the Angelonia that's from seed, the Serena and Serenita Angelonia. Those are so tiny, they have to actually vacuum out the pollen with a tiny little vacuum, and then take a tiny little paintbrush and touch the flowers with a paintbrush. Yes. And that's why Angelonia is more expensive than Impatiens, because it takes a little bit extra than not be able to do it exactly by hand. So you can see here this little cup of Impatient seed pods, and they bust it out, and there's just seeds everywhere. Here's a bag of Impatient seed. So when these bags come to us at Ball, there could be 1 million seed in a bag. And to make sure we know what it is, because a seed is a seed, and you don't know what is what or what color, they have to barcode each bag, and they put a bloom in each bag. So this is how they come to us in these bags like this. This is still at the farm in Costa Rica. We have a receiving room at Ball that receives all of these seeds from all the different countries every day. Another one, I thought this was a neat picture. I took this myself when I was down there. This is Dichondra. How many of you know Dichondra Silver Falls? Love that plant. That is one of the most heat-tolerant, drought-tolerant plants that there is. Do you see the net underneath the bottom? So they actually just go down and shake these, and the seed falls. And they roll up the net and get the seeds out. So we were talking about wildflower seeds earlier. This is kind of just an example. I mean, this is using the wildflower production, but it's kind of the same for us in the seed production cycle. So you're storing seed, you're collecting seed, you're establishing your stock plants, and then it just keeps going. I mean, we replenish stock plants not as often on seeded plants that we're producing seed from. Cutting stock plants, they get replaced every year. So all of those stock plants are thrown away every year, and then new ones from that nucleus block, from those dishes, are replanted and started fresh every year. But with seed, a lot of those crops can go a couple of years and still produce a lot of seed. We do a lot of testing, so we can trace back to the bench where those workers were, that plant, and make sure it still has good germination. And if it doesn't, we discard those and we start new. So plug and liners, we're talking about those little thimble-sized plugs and liners. That's what these look like. They come in different sizes. The smallest one is called a 512. There's 512 little baby plants in a tray. Some growers get those. Most of them now are getting the size. It's a 288. That's a 288 tray, 288 plants in a tray. That's a lot bigger, easier to handle. Most pansy plugs that growers are getting right now, they're planting all their fall pansies. That's how they're coming, is in this 288 tray. So they came from the farm. We have a greenhouse in Colorado, just outside of Denver, that grows almost all of our seeded plugs for us. This is one of their seeders. They have actually 8 of these. And I was there 2 weeks ago, and they were running all 8 of them at the same time and feeding seed. So you can see the seed in the hopper. This is called a vacuum seeder. And on that silver tube, you see the little dots. That's where the vacuum has sucked the seed onto every hole. And then as it turns, it's dropping it into every cell of the tray. And these things are running, I mean, fast, going fast. Like they have 2 people at the end catching them, 2 people at the end putting them on. So the only time they slow down is when they have to change seed. So this could be, say this is a matrix yellow, this is a yellow pansy in here. Well, then they've got to run blue pansies. So they have to take all these seed out, make sure they get every one of them, and then put the blue seed in. And so that's why they have all these different lines, so they're running different colors all at the same time. And every tray has to be tagged, but you still don't know what it is. I mean, you still can't tell. And it's very easy to make a mistake and have something mixed if it's not labeled correctly all the way through. So people that work in these greenhouses have to have huge attention to detail, because if everything, any little thing could go wrong, and the whole batch could be tagged the wrong color, and then the grower gets it and it's the wrong color, and it's a disaster for everybody. So you got to start out right on the front end. So here's just a map of all of our young plant, like our supplier in Colorado, but we have them all over the country. So these are the young plant producers that supply the plugs and liners to our growers. So we usually just work with which one has the best logistics. Like the one in Colorado runs a truck. They run a semi-truck every week to Arkansas. And I put all my plugs for all my customers. They get on that truck, so we're not going through FedEx most of the time. We still have to sometimes, but we try to get it on a truck as much as we can. And it's climate controlled. So this time of year, especially shipping pansies when it's 100 degrees on a semi-truck, we have to have a refrigerated unit on that truck. So I have been, when the truck has gotten there and they open the back doors and that cold air comes out of those trucks. Because they keep them about 40 degrees when they're on the road, so. And you would think, okay, you're taking that cold pansy plug out of that truck and planting it into a 115-degree greenhouse with shade, but they still survive. And they're doing it right now. I mean, they're planting pansies, started last 2 weeks ago, planting pansies, and they make it. Pansies are tough. They are a tough plant. Here's a whole greenhouse of little plugs. So there's probably 1 million or more right here, just in this picture. They have boom watering systems, so the booms come over the top and mist and water everything. So it's pretty well automated until they have to go pull them. So they pull by order that we enter, and then they'll go in and pull each, tray that the customer has ordered and put them with their other things that they're getting. So just kind of an idea of what things are produced from what. So especially in perennials, we have a lot of different forms. We have seeded ones, we have cuttings, we have bare root, and tissue culture. Perennials can be produced from all of those. Just depends on the species that it is. Down at the bottom, hostas, especially, we're kind of getting away from bare root hostas because of hosta virus X. I don't know if you've heard of hosta virus X, but that's a virus hostas are getting out there. So we're going to more production from tissue culture to weed out those that have disease, because you can't do that with bare root, and that's where it's coming from. So weeding out the bad ones, we are able to produce really good hostas from tissue cultures. So there again, we're back to this, where did it all come from? Well, it started with that breeder who went to young plant supplier and wholesale growers, and then ended up at a garden center here in Arkansas. So plugs, liners, all different size pot containers. And then again, how do we decide when a plant is introduced? We do a lot of trialing. So here's an example of all of our trial sites. We just kind of started one down in Hope this year. So I took some new variety plants viewer down in Hope to that location there for the University of Arkansas. I've got some plants down there for 2026 that they're growing out. So we're trying to get more in the state, different areas, just to get things out there to make sure they're going to handle our conditions. I have them at my house. I grow everything out that's new for the next year just to make sure it's going to survive. So again, a lot of trial considerations. Most of what we do is university trials, but then we have some growers that will have their own trials. But it's a lot that goes into having a trial garden. It's not just getting new plants and making sure they perform. So it's a lot of getting a lot of detailed trial information and data. So the Gardens at Ball, here again, we have a whole team that plans these events and what goes into the garden. So breeders will ask to send us all their new varieties, and then we would tell them we'll plant them, and then we have the different stages that they go into. So here's like a list of see, this is bed, this is one bed, this is bed 6. We have all these different areas and this whole team that plans these trial sites in these gardens every year. So once it's decided on what plants are going in, then they do the layout. So we have landscape architects involved. It's a whole big process just to get plants trialed and in trial gardens. So before the trials begin, there is an event, and you can go, I'll show you in order to go to see what this is about. We call it the California Spring Trials. So every year in March, all of us and all of the breeders are out there. So most of them have locations on the West Coast, and they have all their new varieties for the next year, showcasing. So this past March, we went out there. It takes about 6 days to do. We usually start in the South, California, and go to the North. And we stop at each breeder, and they tell us what they have new, and they show us what they have for the next year. So even though we went in March of 25, we were looking at 2026, and sometimes 2027, like 2 years out of what's coming. So we have our Grower Talks magazine team. They go out and they do the whole trip with us, and they post videos every day of what they're seeing. So some of them are really funny. They may have a good time doing it. And so anyway, you can go to YouTube and put in CAST 2025. It's called California Spring Trials, is what that stands for. And you can see all those videos of what's new for next year. So it's just a good way to see an actual, video of what's coming. Not that all of those are going to make it here, okay? You got to realize this is California. Everything looks good out there, especially in March. So that's why we do trials here. But we got to see the whole range of what's out there to be able to, select the ones that are going to work for us. Again, that goes back to our catalog search. Every single plant is listed there. And then just a little peek of what's new for this year. 252 new annuals 21 of those are geraniums, 117 perennials, 25 mums, 18 cut flowers, and 31 herbs, fruits, and vegetables. That's just what's new for 2026. And it's like this every year. Some years even more. Some years, this is kind of on the slower end of new release year. So it can be a ton of new things. But then we still have all the things that we've always had. So some things eventually kind of go away, but usually most things stick around. So new for this fall to look for. This is actually a 2026 introduction, but growers are going to have it this fall in Arkansas. Is the new Top Wave pansy. This is a trailing pansy, works in baskets and containers. We've had Cool Wave pansy before, but it would get real flat on the top and didn't bloom in the center very well. So the breeder kept working on it and they improved it. And it was so completely different. They named it Top Wave because it fills in the center on top. But here's all the colors that are available. And these are just the first round of colors. These are the first ones they came out with. So the next year there'll be more and more and they'll keep adding to these. But there was not an orange in Cool Wave. We needed an orange for fall. So now we have that added in that series. But if you can get a chance to find some of these, they're probably going to be limited this year, but they will be out there in different garden centers. All of our websites here, again, you can go to bossseed.com. It'll link you to everything. Check us out on YouTube. And then also the Arkansas Diamonds program is still ongoing. So you go to Arkansas Diamonds and you can see which plants have been trialed here and which ones have been selected to be the top picks to work in Arkansas. And there's my email. If you have any questions later you think of, just shoot me an email, let me know. And I think that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions? Yes? Mm-hmm. That is from seed. Yes, don't bring in fireworks, it's from seed. Okay. Yes?
Do you use bumblebees or just honeybees?
Honeybees. Yep. Yeah, you use all honeybees. Yeah, like I say, I know salvia is one of the main crops produced that way. It's open pollinated. And if you look at the name of a plant and it says OP after it's open pollinated, then that means they're produced with bees in the hives from the house. Anything else? All right, thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Sabrina. On behalf of the Master Gardeners, Marty Lynch will present a basket which has been prepared and grown at the Detention Center greenhouse.
We were just chatting before the meeting, and they like wild seeds, and I was telling her where we ordered.
I was telling her where we ordered our wild seeds from, and it looks like we can work with Bertie Seeds and get plants from her.
Yes.
So these packets are full of seeds that we have gathered at the Learning Greenhouse, and we planted them. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
And there are a variety of wild seeds, and this is a milkweed that I purchased from the not Fern Road. Anyway, where is it? Oh, Baker Seed Heirloom Company, and it's a new variety of the Asclepias incarnata, and it's called Soulmate. And mine at home is blooming, and it has a very lovely lavender blossom.
I love that. Thank you.
So, thank
So
you for
much.
coming.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. First, welcome everybody. I'm glad y'all are here. So we'll just zip on down through the officer report. She didn't tell me, but if we do, garden gurus. And that would be good for someone who cannot or does not want to work in the dirt. And we know about hospitality, but we've got somebody in the wings for that. Okay, Lynn?
Okay. We
Turn one off.
have 106 present. I'm very proud for you all coming out. We have 5 guests. Mary Ann Bayer, Mary Ann Bayer, will you stand up? I think she's already got her application and everything, so. Denise Henderson. Oh, okay. And I think she's already got her information. Jamie Dickerson? Sharon Henry. Okay. And Robin Matt Waters. Did she leave too? Okay. Anyway, I think most of them have already been, got their application, but I know all of them will look and make sure. Let's see, okay, I like the number today. We got 10,570 sanctioned hours, 890 non-sanctioned hours, which is a total of 11,461 hours, and we have 3,910 education hours. And I know we could get a lot more than that. But I'm glad to see you're putting your hours in, because next month we may start bugging you if you don't put your hours in. And we know you're out there working, we've seen you. All right, so please put your hours in.
Okay, mentoring. I am very, very excited about this year's class. You know, not too long ago, we gave out 3 Busy Bee pins to Master Gardeners who were already certified. At the last meeting in July, I went ahead and had Janet Aragon stand. She has hers. And today I've got the Busy Bee pins. We have 7 more that are now certified. We have 8 today that we're going to get pins to and celebrate them. We are so proud of you. So, is Janet here today? No. Janet Aragon? Okay, we'll get her picture.
Sounds like a threat.
All right, I need Rhonda Backus. Is Rhonda here? Yay, come on up here. Kay Walsh. Kay, I know she's here, yeah. Come on up here. Ann Butcher. Who's that? Yay. Ann Henderson.
She's here.
Yay! Walter Rogers.
Walter's back there.
Wonderful. Ann Martin. Yeah. And Cindy Freebro. Yay!
I guess I think we should check. If I can get them off Facebook. What does that do with all that? I heard he doesn't send them anywhere sometimes. I do not know.
All right, smile for the camera.
I can do that. Sitting in the, right here.
And thank you, because you helped me get them.
Okay, yeah. Congratulations, girl.
Okay, y'all, I am pleased to announce that we now have our extension agent. It's Daniel Lamb.
Hey guys, I'm the new extension agent. I went to college in Fayetteville, graduated in May. Came down here last month, or actually this month, and got some training scheduled for next week. Les Waltz is coming down. I'll be joining y'all tomorrow at the in Hope. How many of y'all are coming? Nice. All right, I'll see you guys there.
Thank you.
Good job,
And I'd like to encourage the committee chairs to call Daniel and invite him to a work day. So,
And I'll get his phone number.
Email address, Trish.
his
dlam@uadex.
UAD.
DXE.edu.
So DLAM@UADA.edu.
And I will put it in the newsletter for you.
Great.
Okay. Is anybody going to talk about county fair? Is that you?
Of course we're going to talk about the county fair. You're all excited, right?
Okay, I'm Linda Fleming, if you don't know me. Pam Benz and I are the chairs for the county fair this year. Pam's traveling, heading back to Hot Springs from Wisconsin. Okay, I want to thank everybody that signed up on Sign Up Genius for all of the slots that we had, but there are still some left on there, and Pam's about to have a heart attack, okay? So, because there are still slots. And yes, they are later in the week and they are in the evening, like the 7 to 9s. But there are still some of you that drive after dark, right? Okay. But, is Stephanie here, Ballard here today? We have a good contact for an Uber driver, all right? It's Stephanie Ballard's brother, so they can get you here, get you there, and home safely, all right? So not driving at night is no excuse, all right? This is a Master Gardener project, okay? So we have to support it. We're responsible for what goes on in that horticulture building. So that's why we need bodies there. And it's kind of fun. So everybody come, and you gotta save Pam. I can't lose Pam at this point, so no heart attacks for her. Please sign up. Okay, we are going to have volunteers working at the EHC building on Friday from 2 to 5:30. 4 volunteers. They need a dishwasher. The jobs are dishwasher, baker, donut fryer,
I've done that.
and clearing tables. Allison Crane, who's the home ec whatever for extension, would like to do some training. She called it yearly training. I do not know. So I've got Susan Koenig volunteered. She volunteered Judy Dare. And so I need 2 more names. So please see me today if you're interested in being frying donuts again. See me, and then we'll send these names to Allison Carr at Extension, and she'll schedule this training. She says she also has it on a video or whatever. All righty. Remember that October 8th is the day to bring your entries out of your garden, off your patio, whatever you're going to enter. October. I said October. I wrote down October. It's September. It is September 8th. On that Monday, like 8:30 to 6, you can bring your entries. We'll do the paperwork. And remember, there are ribbons and money awards if you win something, so please bring those, all right? Okay, this year for our popular vote, Fun in the Garden theme that we're using is, so yard art will be entries for our popular vote. So go to Pinterest if you need some ideas. But we have prizes this year. Thanks to Diane Arrington, we have prizes that have been donated, okay? No money has been spent on this whatsoever, all right? You guys? Don't even ask me about that. Okay, but we do have prizes thanks to Diane. All right, we have gift certificates to Taco Mama, Side Town, Ouachita. Also, tickets to the Pocket Theater. I forget the presentation, but I think Diane knows. The Haunting of Hill House. When is it?
It's in the month of October.
In October, okay. Those tickets. Also, tickets to the Glazed House of Entertainment when they have entertainment downtown. All right. So whoever wins first place on our popular vote gets first choice, and we'll go down the list on that. All right. So 4 prizes for that. So we want your yard art, and you'll bring that on Monday, September 8th, also. All right, for setup. So, if you have any questions, see me afterwards. If you'd like to fry donuts, if Tricia doesn't take that job, need 2 people or more for helping EHC on that Friday. So, any questions, see me later, all righty?
Thank you. I will say about working in the EHC kitchen, you're not standing there waiting for somebody to come in. It's very busy and time flies. And yes, I will be happy to do donuts. Or clear tables, take your pick. All right, moving on. As you know, last month, we voted to stay at the Elks through December because of the big increase in rent. So now we're working on the 2026 budget, and it's like time to decide if we want other alternatives. So I've got some other alternatives, and we are going to vote.
We voted to stay here for the end of the year. Now there's 3 options that came up.
Wait. All right. Okay, the first, of course, is the Elks Lodge. There's plenty of parking, lunch is available, and it's not just, ooh, Elks lunch is so wonderful. It's a time for us to sit down and just socialize and greet each other. And they've been very supportive when we have special events. We got the audio visual, and we do have a history with them. The con, of course, is they raise the rent from $100 to $275 a month, and that will be about 11% of our projected budget. The budget for 2026 is not final at all, but that's about what we expect it to be. Quorum Court, that's in our extension building. It's rent-free. We cannot bring any drinks or food into the Quorum Court area, but we can in the foyer. And they do have the audio-visual support. Big con is lack of parking. Is, you know, looking at this parking lot, I don't see how we could get these cars within, what, half a mile of that. And then, well, I mentioned the no food. And then, of course, there's National Park College. Plenty of parking if you don't mind fighting the students for the closer ones. Audio-visual support. They do have a student commons where you could get lunch. The rent is $450 a month. She thinks she might be able to get it down to $300, which is nice, but it's still more than what we're paying. And it can be a long walk from the parking to the facility. And the location is inconvenient to most members.
But,
I don't understand what's inconvenient about it. It's right off the bypass.
right.
What are you talking about? National Park College?
Yes, you say inconvenient. We don't agree, but the parking's the only problem.
Oh, well, you know, to me it was inconvenient. So, therefore, it's inconvenient. So,
We understand that part, that we understand.
we contacted the EHC building and fairgrounds and the New Life Church on Packus, and they were not able to accommodate us. So we have three choices. Any discussion or questions?
I have a question. Why couldn't we use the parking lot down that they built down on the, where our building used to be? If we went to the court.
We don't know if it's restricted at this point. I mean, it may be available for all of us,
Yeah.
but it may not be.
Okay.
Yes, Suzanne?
I don't know if it would make a difference, but out of curiosity, is this an annual a contract we sign annually, or is it month to month, or how does that work?
Oh, we do not have a contract with the Elks Lodge.
No contract.
They have,
No, I know.
okay, they have not raised their rent in, I don't think, what, it's been 6 years or something?
Yeah.
But the reason it went up is because they were told they had to send a fee to their region. Any, Sharon?
You have a question? I did.
As an old lady, I'm very proud to tell you how old I am, but the Elks has been such a good place. I came in, sat down, looked across the room. I didn't see a single place I didn't want to sit down with and visit with. Beautiful people. Food's good. The rent is cheaper than any of the other places. The other places are very convenient. And we know we love being here. And I'm parked so that I can go out the door, straight to my car, and the school. I don't like to get up so much, but.
Okay, Linda?
Would it be possible to try the quorum court for a couple of months, and if we don't like it, come back here?
Okay, would you like to try the quorum court for a couple months? Would it be possible?
No.
All right, Nancy? No, it does not. The extra $175 is a fee that they must send to their region. So basically, they are not increasing our rent.
They're not getting the money.
They're not getting the money.
We're paying. Yes.
Yeah. Hildy?
I called you a couple days ago and asked to find out, and you gave us the answer, what contribution the rent would be to our budget. And you said
11%.
11%. We have very limited opportunities to spend our money on ourselves. And I think it is extremely valuable to have an opportunity to get together ahead of time here. Whether you like the food or not, I like Sharon, being able to sit at various tables, seeing all of my friends, meeting new people, saying hi to people who are, whom I'm not seeing for a while, and more importantly, both of them about putting in their hours.
And wearing their badges.
We also have two opportunities each year where we're using the Elks. We're having our March meeting here, where we're feeding our new master gardeners and have a chance to get to know them. It is always a big social. We started a couple of years ago to have our, was it just last year?
It's
The December one.
it's a
I thought it
Christmas
was wonderful,
social.
and I think we would be very foolish not to spend 11% of our salary.
Okay, last question.
My comment just piggybacks on that. As much as I am drawn to free rent, we would have to give up 2 of our social events. We cannot have a special event celebrating our first-year Master Gardeners, and we cannot have a Christmas event if we go to the quorum
We
court.
can have it here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for your vote from the bottom up. Who is for the National Park College? Raise your hand. All right. Who is for the quorum court? 5 people, okay. Who wants to stay at the Elks Lodge? Okay, Elks Lodge has it. Okay, so it's that time of year again to think about the awards nomination. This is for the state awards. Rebecca.
Thank you. I am Rebecca Tutton, and I'm chairing the awards committee this year. I have given, I hope, everyone a packet. It has the nomination form. If you do not have one, Sheila or Annette can give them out to you if you raise your hand so that you can go ahead and do a nomination. I just want to briefly go through this. This is for both the county and the state awards. The first sheet is pretty much the criteria that your nominee would need to meet. The deadline for getting this form in is September 21st, which is our September meeting. I would like if you can fill it out today. There's a box back here that you can put your nomination form in, or Sheila McClarty or I will take it from you. What this state is wanting is to see, and they have changed some of the rules, they're wanting to see the impact that the individual has had on the project, to the community, and to the Master Gardener program. And this is a little bit different from what I understand from last year. They want to kind of see more commitment that this project and this individual and the nominees have had on these 3 different, so it's the community, the Master Gardener program, and the, what was the other one?
Community.
The community, thank you. The second page of your form is the actual nomination form. There are 7 categories, and under each category kind of explains what we're looking for in that category. Now, in some of these categories, a person that has been nominated cannot be nominated again. If they have been nominated and won the Garland County Mentor of the Year, they are not eligible to be nominated again. So on the 3rd page is a list of the people and businesses that have won the nominations in the past year. So if you're not clear or sure who has won, that's a reference for you so you don't nominate them again. The last page is the mentors and mentees, and this is for the Rookie of the Year as well as for the Mentor of the Year. So you should have everything in the packet that you need to help you nominate. Please, please, when you nominate someone, would you please put comments? This helps us on the committee to send in this for whoever wins. We have to write out, for the state. So the more information we can get about the nominee would help us a great deal. Are there any questions? I'm sorry. Next September 21 is the deadline for the written forms. There will be an online form beginning September 1, and it will end on October 1st. So it will be online. If someone you know is not here today, take an extra packet to give them if you're going to see them before the September meeting. Any other questions?
All right, thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, we're about to come to an end. I'm about to ask y'all to do something, and this is strictly do as I say, not as I do. When someone sends you an email, please respond. These are volunteers. They're trying to, whatever their purpose is, they're reaching out to you. So just respond, even if it's like, nope, I'm not coming, or whatever, respond. And I'm the world's worst. And anyone who's been a secretary for Master Gardeners know that I'm very slow to respond about corrections. We have, supplied by Tina Packus, free elephant garlic in the back there, like 20 or 30 of them. And Roy wants to talk about chairs.
Yeah, y'all did a good job last month, so we're going to try it again this month. And the black chairs that the board's sitting in, you look behind the speaker up there. We're going to leave 20 out here on this side of the room, and all the rest of them get stacked in seats and put away. And all the people that came to set up the chairs before the meeting can stay and set up the chairs down the street.
Thank you. And here's Gail.
Okay, I hope y'all stopped by the Sow and Tell table today. Karen could not be here, but we have set this up. It's showing what vegetables and flowers can be planted in the fall, actually do better in the fall. And we made some do-it-yourselfer planting strips. We will be doing this again at the Ask a Master Gardener booth at the farmer's market on Saturday. So if you didn't get a strip and you want one, come by. We'll have Butter Crunch lettuce strips available.
Thank you. Any comments? Meeting adjourned.